As Donald Trump stepped forward confidently, extending his hand, no one expected resistance. Handshakes in politics are symbols of power, respect, and control. But on this stage, something unusual happened. The host, visibly tense and clearly angry, did not immediately accept the gesture. Her expression said everything: frustration, defiance, and a line that would not be crossed. Attention-grabbing words and divide into 5 sections. As Donald Trump stepped forward confidently, extending his hand, no one expected resistance. Handshakes in politics are symbols of power, respect, and control. They are carefully timed gestures, often rehearsed, meant to signal unity even when disagreements remain. But on this stage, something unusual happened. The host, visibly tense and clearly angry, did not immediately accept the gesture. Her expression said everything: frustration, defiance, and a line that would not be crossed. For a brief moment, time seemed to slow down. The outstretched hand hung in the air, caught between expectation and reality. Cameras zoomed in, studio lights reflected off polished shoes and serious faces, and the audience sensed that this was no ordinary ending to a televised exchange. What should have been a polite conclusion suddenly felt like a silent confrontation. Throughout the discussion, tension had been building steadily. The host had pressed hard with her questions, refusing to soften her tone. She challenged statements, asked for clarity, and pushed back when answers felt incomplete. Each exchange added another layer of intensity. Trump, known for his confidence and assertive presence, responded in his familiar style: firm, direct, and unwavering. Neither side was willing to back down, and the air between them grew heavier with every passing minute. When the time came to wrap up, tradition took over. Trump stepped forward, extending his hand as a sign that the debate, however heated, was over. In politics, this gesture often acts like a reset button, a way to say, "We disagree, but we move on." Many in the room expected the host to follow protocol, smile politely, and accept. That is how these moments usually end. But this time, protocol collided with emotion. The host's hesitation was small, but it was powerful. Her eyes flickered with thought, her body language stiffened, and for a split second, it was clear she was making a choice. Accepting the handshake would have signaled closure, perhaps even approval. Rejecting it would mean breaking an unspoken rule of political theater. And in that instant, she chose not comfort, but conviction. Her expression spoke louder than words ever could. It reflected the frustration of unanswered questions, the anger of a conversation that felt unresolved, and the determination to stand by her principles. This was not just about a handshake. It was about what the handshake represented. To her, it may have felt like accepting a version of events she strongly disagreed with. The audience reacted with quiet shock. Some leaned forward in their seats, others glanced at one another, unsure of what they had just witnessed. On live television, moments like this are rare. Everything is usually controlled, predictable, and safe. But this moment was raw and unscripted, and that made it unforgettable. Almost immediately, viewers at home sensed the significance. Social media platforms lit up with clips, screenshots, and opinions. Supporters praised the host for her courage, calling the moment a bold stand against power. Critics accused her of being disrespectful, arguing that professionalism should rise above personal feelings. The debate spread far beyond the studio, reaching people who had never watched the full event. What made this moment so powerful was its simplicity. There were no raised voices, no dramatic gestures, no harsh words exchanged at the end. Just a hand extended and a pause that spoke volumes. In a world full of noise, that silence cut through everything. This incident also reflected a larger shift happening in public life. More people are questioning authority, challenging traditions, and refusing to participate in gestures that feel empty to them. Symbols that once went unquestioned are now being examined closely. A handshake is no longer just a handshake. It can be a statement, a protest, or a refusal to pretend. In the end, that brief moment became one of the most talked about parts of the event. Not because of policy or debate points, but because it revealed something deeply human. It showed how emotion, principle, and power can collide in the smallest gestures. And it reminded the world that sometimes the strongest message is sent not through words, but through what we choose not to do. However, saw something entirely different. To them, the hesitation was a bold statement, a rare act of defiance against a powerful figure. They praised the host for refusing to hide behind politeness when the conversation itself had been anything but see,